Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's been quite the summer season. Full of life and energy at the camp. For those that are not familiar with the space, Camp Camrec has been in Leavenworth since 1965. Space that the Mennonite churches have cared for since then and shared with many churches and schools and nonprofits for years now, and with the effort of bringing community together and caring for the landscape and inviting everyone into connecting with nature and God and simplicity. And this the Washington Mennonite Fellowship is the community of churches and individuals that have cared for this camp and built this camp. And we usually have about 8 to 10 programs that we organize throughout the year. Summer camp for their children and youth being the main one. We have kids from kindergarten up to 12th grade that come out for their age groups. Sometimes it becomes about four weeks of camps. This time we combined a couple of the groups, middle school and high school, because we had the summer Mennonite conference take place. We had hoped that as many of the youth would go to that as well as summer camp. The scripture that was read today was one of the main ones that we carried with us with the youth this summer, to help reflect how God knows each of us, calls us to care for creation, to care for each other, and reminding us that our communities are there to support us in this calling. And each age group this summer brought their own approach, even though we had kind of the same theme of seeking God together, seeking God within us, with others, above us. Thinking about how God knows us fully, our thoughts, before we speak them. So we had activities of but more Bible focused activities, but also crafts. So in our crafts, we had different volunteers that came out. Some of the younger kids knitted these kind of dream catchers using sticks that they gathered outside, and you chose their colors and had that process to go along with the Bible verses. They also, one of my favorite activities that I saw one of the volunteers lead this summer was all the kids chose a pine cone and created silly creatures, made faces on them, and so this act of creating creatures with their own characteristics, their own personalities, and then hiding them throughout camp so that guests, when they come out, they find them and hopefully brings a chuckle. When we think about camp and how that helps form our youth, helps form our community, as a space that is open for everyone to enjoy. I like to even though I live at camp, I like to read our mission statement at least once a week. Just every time I just enjoy the process of kind of grounding, and so I'd like to invite you as we continue to transport ourselves to that space. So our mission statement says at Camp Camrec, we nurture children in the love of God, the love of others, and the love of creation. We seek to welcome adults to a place and spiritual framework for rest and restoration. We seek to care for this beautiful part of creation and the extended landscape around us. And we seek to embody Anabaptist Mennonite values of peacemaking, simple living, service, and community. And through all the activities that we have going on at camp, we continue to live this mission and invite others to participate in that mission. Through singing, through resting, through meditation, through hiking, through volunteering together. I often forget how much goes into the cooking portion of making sure summer camps run smoothly. So volunteers that arrive and get up at 5 in the morning and go to sleep at 8, preparing 3 meals a day, keeping the structure going and keeping us energized and taken care of. One of the activities that I led this summer with as the first activity of the first day, as this process of grounding with the youth. We started first day after breakfast. We went on a short walk. Some of you know a lot of the work at camp is around restoration, land restoration. And we have different stages of the work throughout the 240 acres. So we've done all this thinning. The trees have a healthy space between them. That also leaves us with a lot of brush control that we're working with. So I took the kids walking through an area that has had brush clearing, an area that has not had brush clearing, an area that has been burned with controlled fire, that is now just fully bursting with life and happy. And then an area that we just took some heavy machinery through and is mulched, so bare. So kids got to see all of that, and the invitation was, again, seeking God together. Where do we see God through these different stages of work? And kids were picking up items throughout these walks of things that remind them of God and where they see God. And they each got to create a collage with these items. And then the second day, we put those collages together. So we got to see a broader picture of how we each see God and how that is all intertwined, regardless of the paths that we come from. Because this summer we had kids from different faith backgrounds. It was exciting. Kids brought friends from Methodist backgrounds, from backgrounds where they've never been to church. Couple brothers, this was their first time joining camp. I think it was about 5 boys that came from the same baseball team. So little league baseball team, they all came together, first graders. And these two brothers were from a Mormon background. And they all were seeking God together. We also, service is a big component of our Anabaptist roots and calling, and we, during summer camps, we also invite our youth to participate in caring for camp. This time around, one of the big focuses was weeding our prayer labyrinth, and then we got to use it too. So that's always fun. But through these walks and activities and crafts, we intertwine the work that goes outside of summer camps. Like we said, the use of heavy machineries, of community coming together to work together, like the kids did on the prayer labyrinth, to remove brush, to restore the land, to bring fire back on the land, like the native communities used to do 200 years before. And we get to see that, and we get to touch the ash and pick up pieces of coal and bring that into our understanding of God. We used a curriculum that is an intergenerational curriculum from Minnow Media that we're kind of encouraging congregations to use as well, to engage with what volunteers and youth have experienced over the summer. So if you're interested, I can send you the curriculum. I think it can go up to 13 weeks for Sunday schools, but we condensed that into 5 or 6 days, or for the youngest ones into 2.5 days. But with this concept of seeking God together, we focused on seeking God within us, above us, and beside us. One example of how one of the faith leaders during middle and high school led us through seeking God within us was through meditation. This was an experiment. It was middle school and high school, and during one of the campfire sessions, the leader asked, "You want to," after explaining this practice of meditation and how and the history behind this in different cultures and different faith traditions, and how sometimes silence can bring us together. The invitation was to meditate for 1 minute. And after not ever hearing a complete silent minute through summer camp, this was completely silent. And when it was done, they wanted more. So the next evening during campfire, the invitation was 3 minutes. And again, at the end of that, the request was for more. During our middle school and high school camps, there's a tradition of one night hiking up to the ridge. We have trails that go throughout the 240 acres, some of them going into national forest around us. And on this overnight camp, because we take our sleeping bags and lay them out and just sleep under the stars up on the ridge. When the sun had gone down, there was another invitation for meditation, this time 5 minutes. And so we were sitting at this ridge looking at the outline of all the mountains around us. Just a little bit of light left over. And that silence and that wind went by so quickly. And since this overnight hike, we kind of throw out all our normal schedule. There's not a bedtime, there's not a lights out, so it's just a free-flowing evening. So we don't have to keep to the campfire strict schedule. And the kids requested another 5 minutes. We had a whole 10-minute segment of silent meditation. And in some of their surveys at the end of the camp, they said that was their favorite activity all week. Being in silence together, listening to the wind, being present together in nature. Pastor Amy from this congregation was the pastor for our elementary age, third to fifth grade group. And she would invite campers to write questions throughout the day, any question about God, about faith, about community. And we ended up having some theological lessons, very deep, prompted by these questions, and very, very deep interaction. One of the questions, and these questions were usually anonymous, kids wouldn't put their name on them. One of the questions was, does hell exist? And so when this question was read, Pastor Amy was usually not the one to answer it. Everyone took turns just raising their hand, and one of the answers was absolutely not. We've been talking about how God loves everyone, even if they are not Christian, so it can't be a hell. An example of seeking God and understanding that God is beside us through community, hospitality, service. We had a few, with all the age groups, we had a rhythm activity. One of our assistant program director this year teaches rhythmic classes and yoga around the world. She travels. And again, there was an invitation to learn different rhythms, first with clapping, then with some instruments, and just seeing how everyone starts listening to each other without words, but more through feeling and through rhythm. And that kind of embodied understanding that God is beside us. Through silence, through movement, through rhythm. We saw that also through, we did yoga with all the age groups too. And again, just very unexpected outcome, full participation, this silent movement. A lot of the kids said this was my favorite activity. That embodiment of understanding how we're connected with each other, with the ground and underneath us, listening to God within us together. And so that's what I wanted to do today, was share some examples of how we lived this idea of seeking God together this summer, and wanted to invite you all to take some of these images, to try some of these activities on your own together. A couple more examples before I close. It's always fun to read campers' reviews at the end of the day, at the end of the week. With our third to fifth grade group. We don't do a hike where we end up on the ridge. No, we do a stargazing, and it's different every year. But kids are looking forward to going out to the tennis court on the final night, taking their sleeping bags, sleeping. And sometimes we end up just being there for an hour. This night, everyone requested to sleep outside. And so we did. Again, the balance of structure and letting the youth make decisions together, inviting the youth to take ownership of their community, of their traditions. The next morning, after waking up together, this wasn't a written comment. I just kept hearing these comments from different kids talking to each other. Stargazing is my favorite night of the whole year.
We can't do that here.
Yeah. Or camp is my favorite place on earth. But remember, as our youth were learning this summer, we are fearfully and wonderfully made, entrusted with each other, with the land where we are, invited to come together as a community, to learn together, to work together, to take care of each other. And thank you for being part of this space of camp, of supporting this space and continuing to pray for the space and participating in programs as volunteers, as a supporting congregation. You're making these memories for youth, for participants of all faith backgrounds that find God at Camrec. We have time for a book or another example of what we see at camp. Para